Hey guys, Jeff here, Dice Setters. This is Dice Setter, where we show how to manipulate the dice at the table before we toss it, and the efforts are so that we can manipulate what number comes out. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does sit there and greatly improve how long you can go without a 7. Or if you're trying for a 7, how you can greatly improve on hitting 7s, however which perspective you want. A lot of people have been asking about, do something about the bouncy table. And if you're like me, no matter where you go, you're going to run into a bouncy table. Now you might be sitting there saying, no, all the casinos in my area, they're not bouncy. Well, let me know what your area is because I've got to see this area. It'd be premium for me because I love a hard table. My table, I have that felt at the end that actually adds more bounce to it because I want to show you a realistic table. On this other end, there's no bounce to it, but very few casinos have the non-bouncy table. I mostly go to Ellis Island. They have 3 tables. One was called the trampoline, so you can imagine what kind of table this was. They did redo them. The trampoline is now the nicest table there. It is a harder table than the other 2. The other 2 did get redone. They are somewhat bouncy, but the cool thing about new felt, new layout, is that over time they actually dull up so that it's easier for me to sit there and roll what I want to roll. But when the first time they sit there and do the tables, it's impossible for me to get the outcome that I want. It's not bad, but most time I can sit there and roll 20 or more times without having a 7 show up. So the first thing is, my table's got the hard side here, which I never play because, again, most casinos don't have the hard side. Most of them I play on the felt side, and that's going to give me extra bounce. This channel also shows the effects of rolling the whole entire table. We're not going to sit there and just do a half a table. Every time I want to show a demonstration, we're going to use the whole table because that's what the casino's going to do is they want you to use the whole table. If you're on the left side, you got to roll to the right side. If you're on the right side, you got to roll to the left side. Got to hit the wall. When I'm at a hard table, I like to throw it, pretty high. It just comes up, stops, and it just lands. Most of the time, the dice hit flat and they don't move. They will sit there and touch the wall, but that's about it. That's perfect. That's what you want to happen. If you try that on a bouncy table, they will end up like in the restaurant or someone's drink or something because they will bounce out of the table, and that's not what we want. So if you say, Jeff, I have a bouncy table, what do I do? Well, the first thing is we're going to sit there and see how bouncy is that table. You want to sit there and do a very small up and back down. And if they go over the table with little to no effort, then you're not going to be able to dice at that table. If they do stay in the table, then that's the table that we're looking for. And that's what we're going to be doing. Instead of doing the high arch and having them come down, we're going to sit there and make it smaller. We're going to do the low arch, and you're going to put hardly no effort into it. Hopefully you will keep that effort in there so you'll hit the wall, so the stick man won't sit there and say, hey buddy, you got to hit the wall. And I will show you how to sit there and make it so that you won't hit the 7, or if you're trying to hit the 7, it's just the opposite way. But hopefully you'll stay away from the 7 for a longer period of time. So that is what today's show is about, and we'll get to the table. Please like, share, subscribe. Subscribing doesn't cost you anything. I don't charge anything. I don't do Patreon. I don't. The only money I get for running commercials is put back into postage. I sit there and give out free stuff. I had T-shirts made up. I'm always mailing things to people that win a contest or whatever, and that's just a buffer, me sitting there using my own money. You'll never see me go to Patreon. You won't ever see me do my own class where you come and spend $200. That's not me. I'll never ask you for money. But when you subscribe to my channel, all it does is just say, hey, you know what? I like this guy. You might not like everything I do. You might sit there and say, well, that one was a big, bummer. But hopefully you'll like some of the videos I sit there and put out. I do spend a lot of time sitting there thinking about what to do and how to do it, and hopefully make something entertaining for you so that you can become a better craps player. And doing so, that makes me a better craps player because I am learning from this as well. So if we're all learning, it's going to make us better craps players, better gamblers. And again, you want to come home with money. You never want to sit there and play out of your budget. I see so many videos that sit there and high rolling slots. Well, you could sit there and put that money to good. Dude, man, it's their money. If they want to do whatever their money, let them do, whatever their money. Like you would want somebody else to sit there and saying that about your money and your way of gambling. But as long as it's in your budget, your entertainment budget, that's perfectly fine. Back in the day, 4 or 5 years ago, my wife and I would sit there and go to the movies. That was like a normal thing. Well, it's not normal anymore. It's not normal to even go to the movies. You can sit there and watch the movies at your home about the same time that they come out on the theater. So that money that we used to hold back for entertainment now rolled into something else. Whether it's more Starbucks or whether it is, hey, we can sit there and hit the casino more often because we don't have this expenditure of always going to the movies. However you want to say it, but live within your own entertainment budget. And don't sit there and say, man, I need to win 300 because I'm short, 400. That's not a time to go to the casino. This is Memorial Day weekend, so definitely we do remember those people that sat there and gave their lives to keep our nation free. You might not you might not agree with the way the nation is now or agree with the way that it's heading. That's neither here or there. But we will sit there and thank those that sat there and gave their lives so that we can sit there and be free. We can do what we want, and that's all what Memorial Day is. So if you or your family have served, man, thumbs up. And if you have lost somebody, which is remembering those that actually, that died in the war, definitely thank you for you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your family. So I'm going to sit there and show you Bouncy Table. Thanks, guys. All right, my full objective to this is just showing you rolling. If I hit a 7, it's not because I'm trying to hit a 7. It's just because I'm paying more attention on showing you how to roll on a bouncy table. So if you've never played on this table, you want to aim for this spot right here. You could aim for here, and more than likely the dice will stay in the table, but we want to get as close to here as possible. And this will be the determining fact on whether or not you can actually truly dice set on this table. Again, first time at this casino, we truly want to see, what this table is all about. We're going to get our favorite dice set. It doesn't matter truly what your favorite dice set. It might not be my favorite. It might not be anyone's favorite. But if it's your favorite, use it. We want to keep the dice as steady as possible in the air. We don't want it rolling, flipping. We want to keep the dice as close to each other as possible. And the biggest way of doing that is keep your thumb still when releasing and just use your fingers to release. So basically my fingers are going to drop out, my thumb's going to stay still. If you do it the other way around, where your finger stays steady and your thumb drops out, it will cause rotation of the dice. And we're going to try to go as low as possible, but keep us legal. That's what you want to do. You want to sit there and have it bounce slightly into the alligator. You want to keep it as close to the alligator as possible, but definitely as low. That's the main objective. If you look at my videos before where I had a huge roll count, you will see that this is not the way I normally roll. I normally roll a lot higher. There's a 7. We're trying to keep it low. We're trying not to get it to tumble. When you change your arc of landing, more than likely you're going to have to change your die set. You want to be as easy as possible. Another thing to do is to try to get as close to the center of the table during your throw. That will keep the dice from veering to the left or veering to the right. So I'll make that adjustment. This table is high. Most people sit there and say, well, put your arm out here. Well, if I did that, it really put a lot of strain on everything. But this table edge is actually 2 inches higher than it truly should have been. It's like finding the day to change that when I got 1,000 other things I could be doing. It's just one of those things that it will happen when it happens. Keeping it low. Trying to duplicate exactly what you did on the last throw. Once you sit there and say, you know what, I can dice set on this bouncy table, you are going to sit there and spend some time finding that special dice set, because everything of your dice set that you're normally doing is changed. You're not throwing as high in the air. You're throwing it lower. You're throwing it with less velocity, with less speed. And eventually you're going to sit there and find it. You're going to find the dice set that works perfect for this almost a slow motion of a roll that has no energy at all to it, because you don't want it to pop over the edge of the table. As long as you can keep it in the table and keep it legal, that's what we're looking for. Again, I'm rolling 7s, but this is not the normal way of me rolling. This is rolling on a bouncy table. Now, If it's too bouncy, you're like, okay, what do I do? The bone thrower sat there and showed this a long time ago that you're going to sit there and do a rolling, a tumbling action. And you can use any dice that you'd want. We can do like an all seven, 1, 2, 6, 5. The cool thing about a bouncy table, well, you have to understand, I grew up at the age of the video games. There's always a way to win, at least in my mind. There's always a way to win. There's always an advantage somewhere. You're just going to have to find it. On every video game I've ever played, there's always a way to win, a way to beat the machine. And that's the way I put forward to craps. There's always a way to win. There's always a way to sit there and beat the system. So a tumbling action, all sevens. With a bouncy table, you're going to roll. It'll be easier for you to roll the all tall small on a bouncy table than a hard table. I've seen proof of this. Rolling on the cut edge of the dice. And we're just going to let it bounce down there. And that's what you'd want to do for that bouncy table. And again, it doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter what's on top when you sit there and do that. So if the table's too bouncy, this is your next option besides leaving and finding a different casino. I do frequent the Palms, and the Palm seems to have one table that is harder than the other ones. And again, this is okay. The table has beaten me. It's too bouncy. Now what do I do? Most of the time, if the table is that bouncy to the point that it's basically falling off the table all the time, most of the time they're a little bit more lenient on getting close to the edge because they're tired of picking dice up off the table or off the ground onto the table. So there goes that tumbling technique. You can also again, if the table's too bouncy, you also can do a sliding technique. And basically, our dice set, and you're going to sit there and same thing. Tell me what you guys think. Those of you that have super bouncy tables and that's the only choice that you have, if this helps you at all, or if you like to see more of this, because like I said, Ellis Island had the bounciest table I have ever seen and I made it work. It was a fun table for me to shoot at. That was probably a bit higher. If it was a true bouncy table, it would have gone over. That's my landing zone. Should get a little closer. That's my third six. And you notice the dice split. Keep it as center as possible, and that would have happened. That's what I've got for today, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Tell me what you think. And if you really are in an area that does not have a bouncy table, man, put it down in the comments. I would sure like for all of us that that read the comments to see where is it that it might just be one casino, but you're like, oh yeah, I live in Chicago or whatever, and on the boats, none of the tables are bouncy. I would like that information. I think that'd be cool. If it truly is, we'll find out. That's for sure. There's enough people that watch this channel that's all over the United States that could sit there and verify that. But tell me what you think. Tell me if this has been a help to you guys. And again, bouncy tables, they're there to make money. That's the whole reason behind it. Because you're not going to be on the spot every single time when you're dice setting. That's their way of combating dice setting. They're not doing it for the random roller. I can tell you that. Who cares about the random roller? The random roller is a random roller. It doesn't matter. They're doing it for us. Those that choose to pick which dice that we're going to do it, you're going to have, and how we're going to roll into the end of the table. That's really what it is. They make more money that way. And in that case, if they're making more money with a bouncy table, how do you think you should be playing? You should be playing the dark side. That should be a dead giveaway. If the table is that bouncy and people can't hit their point, play the dark side. Last week, that's what I did. $25 on the dark side. You would win a lot of money. Thanks for watching, guys. Later.